This episode is brought to you by VW Trends Magazine. Check them out for all the latest trends in the VW scene at www.vwtrendsmagazine.com. Good morning and welcome to the show. My name is Sean Smith.
And my name is Prescott Phillips, and this is Brew City Bug Talk.
Hey, welcome back to the show. How's it going today, Prescott?
Good. It's going good today. We're having fun today.
We got some cool stuff going on today.
For a Wednesday.
For a Wednesday, and we are on location. Where are we at today, Prescott?
We're at Adam and Tanner's shop, the shop of the, what is it? The
World Champion
Engine Builders.
We got a special treat because who else is here today?
Who else is here today is Dan Leadbetter of VW Trends Magazine fame.
Wow. The man.
Wow. Editor-in-chief.
We got the men. Like, it's not you're the man, too. Like, we're here to see you, too.
It's plural.
Yeah,
it's plural. The men.
Yeah.
The men.
The men.
I like it.
That sounds bad.
So, hey, we'll start with you real quick. What are you doing here, Dan?
You know, I made a wrong turn.
He's lost. He has no idea where he is.
I actually stopped for direction. No, you know, in a follow-up to last year's Where in the World is Dan Leadbetter tour of the East Coast.
That's what Sean thought this was yet.
Yeah, it kind of was.
Is this a continuation of where the heck is Dan?
No, you know what it is? This was more of a refined, narrowed down version of the first trip, because the first trip was more exploratory. Like, I wanted to see how much I could actually get done in 9 weeks, and I didn't plan it very well. Like, there would be a point where I'd have a show on Sunday. Nothing to do until the following Saturday. So I would be like in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, like sitting there going, I'm going to kill myself because there's nothing to do, and I can only eat at Bojangles Chicken so many times during the week.
Right. You've seen enough largest balls of yarn.
Exactly. So this time I was very conscientious about saying, okay, these are the things I want to hit. These are the people I want to see. And it kind of coordinated with the MP engine build because I met, people like Adam and all the other guys, right?
Yeah,
Ed's, not Ed's Foreign Car Parts, but the people from Tafta, like Pat Tafta, and all those people. And I said, I really want to come back here and go see the places where they built the stuff, because I think that's really the story.
Oh,
right?
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can build an engine, bring it somewhere, but nobody knows what's going on.
Nobody
behind
knows
the
how
scenes.
it got there.
That's Prescott. I was so excited to interview these guys because I was geeking out about the stuff
You couldn't
built.
shut him up.
Exactly.
I'm turning up the radio. I even got his music on, right?
Right.
I didn't care. I'm like, hey, do you think they did this? And do you think they're going to do this? I was so excited.
Yeah, but then one of his favorite songs would come on the radio.
Yes.
He's like,
Miley Cyrus.
There you go. Yeah, very good.
He
Kelly
goes,
Clarkson.
He goes, I can't believe you're listening to this. I'm like, dude, I put this on for you. Otherwise, I'd be changing it. I'd be fast forwarding through the
I
changes.
do all of this for you.
Yeah, you don't care. and you won't shut up.
But seeing the work and the stuff that they did is really cool.
Because I think part of the thing I wanted to discover was, obviously I got to meet the people, right? And got to know them as people, but it's another thing to come and see them in their own environment.
So is that the first time you met
stuff.
Adam and Tanner? Is that?
Oh yeah,
MP?
we didn't know each other before, and it's like it's one of those things I like to call I discover kindred spirits, right? It's like we got along so well.
I wasn't sure if
right
they
off
advertised in the magazine or
no.
Like
I'll hit them up for that later. But
we're getting to that.
We'll get to that later on. But it was more about I wanted to see where the magic happened, right? Because some shops I'll go to, and it's like you look at the shop and you go, they can't be doing anything because it's so clean. Like you could eat off the floor.
Well, that's the opposite of this place.
But that's the beauty of it. It's a working shop.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing
it's
I
pretty
keep
clean
hammering.
today, right?
You guys,
I think it's
today.
really nice.
We
it's
got
a nice
so
show.
much customer work done in the last 2 days. We haven't touched a single customer's car in 2 days. We've been cleaning. You think it's a joke?
No.
Just because I was coming by? Really?
Well, You should see the shop when it's in full thrash.
Yeah, it's quite a
Hey,
mess.
there was soap in the bathroom today, so thank you.
Was there
Yeah, that
really?
was nice.
Yes.
Did he give you
My
the
wife
tour
is
this
at the
morning?
shop now.
No,
so-
we still haven't done the tour. We haven't even taken. We've been talking and laughing and having a great time, and I still haven't taken the tour yet.
Oh, yeah, the dino room is
Yeah, we got to go back there.
outstanding.
We'll
Oh,
do
right
it.
here.
Well, we
And
got to
then-
wait for Tanner to get back so he can
Yeah.
be in all the photos.
This guy.
See, he left. Tanner was here earlier, and then he had to go pick up his son. But I think he really got sick of us, so he had to go to the bar or something. I don't know. But he said he'll make his way back here, so that's why he's not on the episode
But
today.
you got to get the full tour of this place.
Yes,
All
and
the-
that's what I've been.
You're only
fortunate.
looking at the corner of it, basically.
Right? Yeah, I haven't really left this room.
'Cause
Honestly,
all the machine work and stuff gets done where that's probably where you piled up all the stuff you cleaned up yesterday.
It's piled up there. That's the beauty of having flat surfaces that are high.
Right?
Now,
Yeah, it's
you
on the
know.
roof of the
instead
dino
of
room.
sweeping it under a rug, you put it
It's
up
like
on the
just
roof.
Keep throwing it up top.
All right, so back to you, Dan, real quick. How long do you have left on your journey here till you're done with a venture that you're on?
This is I've been on the road as of today for 30 days. 30 days nonstop.
30 days.
It's been since the Wednesday before Labor Day.
Okay.
Is when I started the trip, and I knew that I had certain places to hit, and I tried to create a timeline that was conducive to having stuff to do in between shows.
Right.
Because I didn't want those long periods of time where there was nothing to do.
So do you plan it so you go to shops during the week and then
Yes.
shows during the weekends?
Yes, that was the plan. So
Yeah.
I hit three shows this time around
Okay.
in a month, and I think I hit 6 or 7 shops, and I shot 4 or 5 covers and probably 7 features.
Nice.
So it worked out really, really well for me. Like my time management skills were on point. So this is actually my last stop before I head home. So I've got probably about 2,000 miles, I think, to head back to Las Vegas.
Ah, fantastic.
Which we moved to Las Vegas. I don't know if we even discussed
Yeah,
that
we didn't.
before.
Right. I had messaged Sean here. I'm like, is this a joke? Because like everybody, right? When you posted that online, everybody's like, he's pulling our leg.
Yeah,
this is all
That's
baloney.
what's so funny. It's
This
like
is-
I can't say anything without people questioning
This
it.
is the
Like,
worst April Fool's joke ever.
If I ever get
'Cause it's not
abducted
even
by
April.
aliens, no one will believe it. No one will believe it.
Okay, yeah, sure, Dan.
So
Right.
do you have to give up the coveted black and yellow California plate?
I will probably, but I'm gonna say I lost them. Keep them because those are too damn cool.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
no
they're those.
kidding.
I may work out some sort of like
Well, you got-
subscription promo and maybe frame something with it and
that
give it
might
away.
be cool.
That might be kind of.
Well, you
fun.
got family. Can't you just change address
You know,
live here now.
no,
and keep them?
nope. I have a brother who lives in Chico, California.
Sure.
But nah, it's like I felt like it was time to make a change because I've never lived out of state. Number one.
Okay.
So this will be the first time I've lived out of state, and from a business standpoint, moving to Nevada makes sense because there's no state tax. So that way,
Right, and you're not. I mean, you're in the same boat as a lot of people in California.
on the way out here, let me tell you this. This was such a revelation for
the
me.
caravan.
It was a caravan. I saw no less than 27 U-Hauls carrying cars with
Yes.
California plates.
on
People,
Yes.
people bailing out.
Right, right.
And I get it.
It's tough, man.
Oh,
It
it's
is.
terrible.
It really is like California is trying to do everything in their power to force small businesses out.
Right.
And it made sense for us because we're a very small company.
Very small.
And we're to put out a good product, right? It's like we have to make sure we have tight budget
Well, you got to watch your
constraints.
bottom end, yeah.
You do,
And,
and-
when the state is taking advantage of you, it's like, why am I here?
Well, it made sense for us, being that
Mm-hmm.
they have no state tax in
sure.
Nevada. So that was a boon for the business right away.
Yeah, instantly.
And it gives us the opportunity to keep our prices low because we don't have a brick and mortar.
Nope.
We don't have all this huge overhead. So we can keep our advertising rates low and we can keep the magazine costs low. Like we have not had a magazine price increase since we started.
And you're not out of the Volkswagen hub, per se.
Yeah, we're only 4 hours away.
And Vegas has a pretty good.
It's easy.
Vegas
They have a great
Vegas has a
VWC.
scene.
They have a great VWC.
Yeah, and you're only 2 hours from
Lots of high performance engine builders.
Three.
More than I
Vegas.
would have thought.
Yeah.
More
well,
than I
you
would have
got you
thought.
got the off road guys.
Yep.
Yes.
The off road. Yeah, they're building 1600 motors, but whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
they're from there.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
and there's enough of a scene there to make it worth.
Well, you know, and a lot of people are getting into Class 10 because it's easy to get into.
Right.
Right? So
Right.
you could build a Class 10 car.
Sure.
And
You could wrap up business around it.
absolutely 100%.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's what's
you-
exciting, I
11.
think.
Class 11.
Class 11, sorry.
Class
yeah.
11 and,
Yep.
and even class 10 stuff.
Yeah.
Apparently, I have no class. Is what that means.
Well, the thing is, he didn't move to Rockford.
Yeah.
To the second hub of Volkswagen existence. Yeah. So
Yeah. Well, operating out of Illinois is pretty close to operating out of California. So.
yeah.
So you'll be home in the next couple of days. You excited to sleep in your own bed? I take it.
You know what? Let me tell you. As much as I love traveling, and as much as I love meeting people, like that to me, that's the biggest thing. It's like I love having FaceTime with people and being able to shake hands and like really see what's going on, rather than just get a snippet on Instagram or a
just
little
a chat.
video or
Yeah, a little chat
phone
on-
call.
yeah,
It's like
yeah.
it's not the same. It's
No.
not the same as being boots on the ground.
Yep.
And that's what I loved about this trip was I really got to see the internal workings of where these motors are being built, like incredible horsepower, like you guys and like PAFTA and like all of them. And it's been such a treat for me because I get excited about it. I'm still, even though I personally have never built a motor in my life, I can appreciate the work and effort and the ideology of putting together a high horsepower motor, and I love it.
Yeah,
So
I mean, you don't have to know how to build a motor to appreciate what
Right.
I mean, maybe if you paid for a motor, then you appreciate
yeah,
it.
then it'd be a whole different story. But to get back to your question, my goal is when I leave here, we might be here till tomorrow morning. Who knows? So
I hope
Got
not.
the bourbon.
when that bourbon gets broken out, all bets are off. But the plan is to get home either later Friday night or midday Saturday.
Well, that's not so bad.
No, I'm not pushing it. This time.
We had already talked to you earlier in the day about next year's tour, and that you plan on doing this again next year.
Yeah, one thing I discovered about coming to the East Coast, right, the middle of the state or the
Country.
Midwest.
Thank you.
The
Yeah.
Midwest.
I haven't had any bourbon yet, but you might think so.
You're doing fine without it.
But one thing I noticed is the more places that I go and the more people I talk to, the more I can sort of, if I had to coin a phrase, spread the gospel of VW trends. Because no matter where I go, I still get people coming up to our booth and going, I didn't even know you guys
I
were back.
thought you guys went out of business.
Exactly. And I still get that to this day. So it's good to be out here to, number one, just continue to solidify that, yes, VW Trends is back and we're better than ever and we're growing, constantly, which is great. And it's good to find people who go, I used to read your magazine all the time and I stopped subscribing. I'll subscribe today.
See, and I wish the younger generation would embrace print more than they do. Their phone is too handy.
Yep.
And
They've forgotten what paper feels like.
or just
Well,
what
they
it
miss
what it's
that
like
tactile experience.
to turn a page and to look at something and read, go and read a magazine cover to cover.
Or even dog ear, where I love this car because I like that shroud and I want to do that.
Well, it's like all my magazines got chunks of Post-it notes.
I was going to say something else, but we'll leave this PG.
Wrong magazine.
Yeah, wrong magazine. And 'cause somebody comes over and it's like, oh, well, this I got it all earmarked here, and I just whip it out, and it's just the
Still
magazine.
remember 'em.
And
where
and
it
I
was.
show people what we're talking about with that. I was digging through, and I should have brought another thing we forgot today. Remember the pictures I showed you of Dan?
Oh, yeah. You were.
Uh-oh.
Man,
When I had hair?
did he?
Yeah, he's got the picture of when you.
Yeah,
when
your
you
hair
two
was
met.
when you
When I had
yeah.
the full-on mullet.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a super mullet, dude. It was badass.
Yeah.
It was like past the shoulders and spiked up on. I looked like, you know what I looked like? I looked like the second string player for the Flock of Seagulls.
Okay.
Like I wasn't top tier, but I could have been a replacement.
Yeah, it was me, and I think my first wife took the picture, and we were at Avila, Indiana.
Wow.
And we looked so young.
You know, we were younger. You know what? But here's the thing that I've noticed when I've been out running around, and I thought, because I'm 64, right?
Yeah.
Who knew I'd live that long? Number one, I'm
Right,
sure there
well,
are people that
you're
are
beating the
surprised. Like I'm sure a lot of people have lost the Deadpool on me. But the one thing that I've noticed is whenever I'm in the situation, like if I'm at an event, if I'm at a show, if I'm with people like you guys, I feel like that 27-year-old kid again.
Yeah, I do.
I don't feel my age.
Right.
And I think in some ways that's good, and in some ways it's bad because I tend to push myself more than I should.
I actually feel bad that we haven't had, like, I rolled in here and Dan was already here, and I'm like, hey, I hope he hasn't been here for hours because
I was here at 6 a.m.
That would kind of suck, and I asked him. He said, oh, no, we haven't been here 10 or 15 minutes. But I'm like, and I'm thinking to and I think you asked me, when's the last time you seen Dan?
Yeah.
I'm like,
Million years.
I was wondering when the last time you saw him in person
we
was.
chat
Yeah.
online. Just
Yeah, but actually physically in the same space?
And it's been
35?
Yeah, decades, right? And it's like, I feel bad about that.
See,
you know?
but I would have thought that you would have run into him at SEMA or any of the other shows that you go to.
Yeah,
You know, you would think
life just doesn't.
life gets in the way, man.
The universe doesn't connect you as much as you wish you did. You know,
No.
We're
you
here
know,
now.
But you know what? The thing I love about that is and as I've gotten older, the one thing I'm going to get all philosophical. So
Here we
so
go.
you
Ladies
kids,
and
if
gentlemen.
you're playing from home, write this down.
preach it, Dan.
I appreciate the friendships that I have that you can have 6 months, 10 years, 30 years, and you just pick up where you left off.
Right.
And that's how I feel
Yeah.
about this,
Yeah,
right? It's like
Yeah.
there's just some connection that doesn't need constant maintaining to have the same level of intimacy or depth of friendship.
Right.
And I love that about this industry.
For our listeners, Dan did a feature article on my car. I don't know, back in the 80s. Mm-hmm. That's how we met.
Yeah.
And
It's cool.
Yeah, and it's super cool.
It is. And you know what? And that is a common thread that I've noticed as I've done traveling. Because, like, just, what was it, a week before last? Or last week? Ran into this guy, and he said, you might not remember me from this car show in Alabama. And I'm like,
Give me a shot.
Give me
More detail.
Give me some context. Give me some and he
Let me squint.
and he showed me a picture of his car, and I went, I remember.
Well, it's
I remember.
typical guy stuff. You don't remember the face, but you'll remember.
But I'll remember the car.
You'll
Right?
remember the size of the motor in a car.
Yep, exactly. So it's been fun, and to answer your question, which I took the long way to get there.
I forgot the question.
Me too.
Was am I going to do this again next year? Yes. The short answer is absolutely. The goal is to do sort of Where in the World is Dan Leadbetter Part 2, where I want to hit as many car shows and shops and have like little get-togethers, and I want to give away another lifetime subscription to the magazine, because that worked out so well last year. Like it
People
was
loved
so
it.
much fun, and it was really neat to have people just show up at shops, come in and like take a selfie, and
Right.
not that to me is the end all of end alls, but it's fun.
No,
it's like
it's fun.
interactive.
Yes.
And,
It's an interaction.
And I have people chasing me down on the road, like when I was driving the sport wagon, like they'd pull me over and say,
Hey, Dan,
hey,
there's something dragging underneath your car.
Right, yeah, exactly. That squirrel you hit back there?
I think he's still
That
back
was my
there.
dog.
That was the dog. Sorry about Scruffy, but yeah, it's fun. It's like it gets some sort of excitement, which I really think that the VW industry has been lacking for a long time. It's like something to look forward to, like the engine build off, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
That was a cool deal.
That was a cool thing. That's probably the coolest thing that happened this year
Exactly.
in the
that's-
Volkswagen scene.
That is the type of stuff that needs to be perpetuated.
Right,
Because the more we can get the excitement going, the more that kids are going to get exposed to this,
Right.
and the more that they're going to want to be a part of it. And that really is the key, like we were talking earlier.
Yep.
If we don't get the kids into it now, they're going to buy Hondas and Toyotas and Hyundais, and
or not even buy a car.
Not even drive.
Yeah,
Not even get a
there
driver's
are those
license.
people. There are those people that don't want to
there's more
drive.
and more of those people.
So it's like we got to get the excitement back into it. And I'm trying everything in my power to, help move that along.
We're right here with you. That's why we started this podcast. That's why we hang out. That's why we do the things that we do, is because to get the younger generation involved.
And you see the younger kids, and you hope you see the spark in their eyes that you had when you started buying, looking at Volkswagens and dreaming about what you're going to do to your Volkswagen. And And I mean, that's what I thought about when I went to bed, and it's what I thought about when I woke up. I'm like,
that's kind of why I really liked the engine build-off, because the things that you guys did, Adam, with how you brought your own little flavor to it, like that was outside the box.
Yeah,
I mean,
if it wasn't for your engine, that build-off would have been pretty vanilla.
Yeah.
It would have been.
True story.
That's a great segue to why we're here talking to you again, because obviously you're the world champion engine builder. But yeah, the things that you did with the de-stroking of the crank, the rods, all that was off the wall. What were you telling us earlier about the coating, the Cerakoting?
The Cerakote, T202.
We're pumping him again?
Yeah, we're pumping. Somehow I always come back to pumping him.
But
and for what?
Just doing that.
Well, at least he doesn't owe you money.
Yeah.
He does owe you money, but in a roundabout way.
Yes. But yeah, just doing that to your engine, like nobody else is doing that. And you guys did that. You guys brought that to the
nobody
show.
did anything out of the ordinary to their engine other than you guys.
Yeah.
Well, which is nobody, but I mean, you guys were the highlight.
Well, yeah, nobody really modified their engine they took the whole engine build off thing to
a new level.
Well, they looked at it from a different vantage point. Yeah. They looked at it like, I'm going to build an engine, and it's going to make decent horsepower, and I'm going to get my name out there.
Yep.
And they just left it at that. They didn't build a motor to win.
Right.
They didn't want to be embarrassed, but they didn't build it to blow away the competition. They knew they were going to be okay.
He's not talking about you guys. He's talking about other people.
Just
our listeners are following his story. He gets off on these tangents sometimes. I got
but the other builders built engines to just showcase what they could build for you personally. But at
you guys built a motor.
Yeah, at Seward Speed
we
Shop.
Took it too far, like we always do.
They went to the other
to the nth degree.
I'm going to build a motor nobody's going to build.
I didn't think we took it far enough. I love where you guys were going with it, and I would love to see what that motor was capable of. Yeah. I mean, I think we talked about that last time on the show.
I still hope we have the opportunity to go back.
No. When we go to SEMA, we're all going to SEMA in Vegas in a couple of weeks here, and maybe we can hijack that motor.
Yeah,
we'll bring a dolly.
I think there's enough of us.
Hey,
I could create a diversion.
There you go.
And you guys could sneak it out the side.
Well, now let's get a girl with.
Hopefully, Rob's not listening to this episode.
That's true.
I don't think he does. Some girl in a long legs and a tight top. To
oh my God, where are we going, Prescott? This is a family show.
Yeah, that's
family
right.
podcast.
Family podcast.
Yeah, this is the afternoon version.
Yes.
But some distraction, and then we'll get a cart and we'll load it. Oh, here's what we do. Let's build a diversion motor. Okay? You know what it looks like,
Out
right?
of cardboard.
Make one that's empty.
I'll never know.
Do you know somebody with a 3D printer?
Actually, we do.
And 2 years to print the whole thing.
Yeah. No, let's build one that's hollow.
Yeah.
And it's got all this, but it looks identical from the outside. Because who's going to know, right? And
But can I just say this about the competition, not mean to derail where you're going.
No, please derail. But
the one thing that I
here.
loved about the engine competition, and I have to say, when the motors started coming in, and I started seeing the different motors from the different companies, and it was very funny because some of the companies I'd never even heard of.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? I'm going,
You're not the only one.
Who?
what?
Yeah. Where's this guy from?
But the sizes of the motors, because I'm guilty of this, and I will take full responsibility for my mind and choices. I was so surprised how judgmental I was of the smaller CC motors.
Yeah.
Like I was like,
Why would you waste your time?
like I'm going, oh my God, you got a 2400 cc motor over here, and you got a 1641?
Yeah.
Or 1776? I'm
Yeah.
going,
How is that
I
going
had
to
a
do?
1776 in my bug in like 84.
It got broke 100 horsepower.
Yeah, it's like I could barely get down the street, and it's and I just had this preconceived notion that a smaller engine meant smaller horsepower.
Yeah.
And let me just
overall,
say how
yes.
surprised and how quickly my mind changed
Right.
when they started pumping out horsepower, and you guys were like, I remember being in the room when your motor was running.
Terrifying.
And I was sitting there going,
Yes.
this is how I'm going to go out.
Yeah.
This is how I die.
There is going to be a piston come right out of that thing and right through my eye.
Yeah, that
and I'll
pulley's
be
going to
dead.
come flying off and saw my head off.
Yeah, and it was so eye opening and so no pun intended powerful.
Yeah.
To see what not so much of how big you could build, but what you could do within a parameter you set on yourself.
Now, according to Rob at MP, right, they're going to redo this.
I was told that they are redoing it.
But
They were talking
Having a
that,
part
yes,
two.
this
Yeah.
is going to be a thing that they are going to focus on and that they're going to be doing yearly.
Yearly,
Yes.
okay.
So-
But it's going to be from what I heard, it's going to change slightly. It's not going to be the same challenge.
I would speculate that there's going to be more rules
They need
around
to
it
reel
this year.
you guys in.
Yeah, I think there's
Allegedly.
going to be more rules. I would think. Maybe not.
Well, I think you would have to
I don't
have
know.
different parameters. I mean,
Right.
this was really,
This
it
one
almost
didn't have
seemed
any
like-
parameters.
Well, it was
Yeah.
like I think the event itself was absolutely amazing,
Yes,
and
the event
I
was-
hope they do it again because
Yes.
I
Yep.
think it's the most exciting thing we've seen in the industry in a while.
Right.
And I think just as anything evolves, you're going to have to, fine tune the rules and regulations on
Yeah.
what to do, how to do it, what are the limitations.
Yep.
You
Well,
have
like-
to have
like-
some fence around it.
Right, and like we've talked about before earlier this morning, some builders didn't partake in this challenge because of the rules.
Because they knew that
They knew-
somebody was going to do something.
And you guys are that something.
Yeah, they looked at the rules and goes, so we can do whatever we want? Yeah. I'm like, oh, Lord. Who's got time for all of this? So I think next year, if the rules were a little more reeled in, then I think the competition would be, and that might make the competition tighter.
Oh, I think if they go back to a 2276,
Yeah.
a 2276, you have to use these components and you cannot touch these two components.
Yeah, okay, you gotta use these out of the box.
Yeah.
You have to use this head out of the box.
Yep.
You have to use whatever out
so,
of the box.
So whatever tricks you have other than touching cylinder heads, you physically cannot touch these cylinder heads or whatever. Whatever component.
Yeah, I think if you say you said like some I think it's Formula V, you can't touch the pistons.
Right.
You can balance the pistons, but you can't do anything else to the pistons. No gas ports, no valve pockets. Well, no valve pockets equals good luck with the cam.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
And good luck with the compression.
Yep.
So you're going to get fancy if you can't touch the piston. And that's all they'd have to do is take one thing, say, here's the part number of the piston you got to use. You can't do anything but balance them. And then, okay, that would narrow down.
That would be a fun one. That would be really fun.
It would be fun. And it would be interesting. Because then
now we're degreeing cams in 42 degrees before and 42 degrees after.
Exactly.
We spend a week and a half degreeing a cam in.
And we're fly cutting heads on some crazy angle.
Yeah, I think, you know what I think?
Yeah, exactly.
I really believe that the more parameters you put around something, the more creative you have to be.
Yes.
Exactly.
And you have to really think outside that box
yeah.
and go, okay, this is the box I get to play in. How can I maximize it within this box?
But the only thing I'm concerned with is you might not get as many people like these guys here who are willing to go outside that box. And
you never know.
Because that's kind of what happened with this competition. You had a lot of guys that just built a motor from off-the-shelf parts. You didn't have a guys who scienced it like these guys did. And
yeah, but the
That's what
competition was wildly.
But even with it being wild, I don't know anybody else that was doing what they did. So I mean, if they weren't in the competition, we wouldn't even be talking about a de-stroked whatever winning the competition.
Yeah, but
there were also a lot of businesses that were profitable for 4 months out of the year, unlike we were.
Well, there's that.
Yeah, there's that. They didn't shut down the shop to build a motor.
See, that's another thing. So you wouldn't have had guys who were willing to take it to that level. And I think
part of that's because it's a 2-man shop here.
It is. Yeah, it's 2-man.
So,
but no, it was cool. That the things that you did with the motor build off were amazing. I hope they have one next year. You can bring back a whole new bag of tricks, as they would say, and do something that'll blow us away on that. But let's pivot real quick, because you were also wanted to prove to the world that you could also build a motor that was reliable, right?
Correct.
Like, not that your motor that you built for the competition wasn't reliable, but
it was crazy reliable.
It was crazy reliable, dude. I want it back so we can look at what
I go, Adam, how many
It's like
pulls?
dissecting an alien. You want to know what's inside
yes,
what works and why
exactly.
it stayed together.
I was talking to Adam, and I go, Adam, how many pulls do you think this thing could handle before it shoots the rod bearings out of it or whatever? And he goes, maybe 20. I'm hoping 20.
how many did you put on before
That's what we were hoping, 15 to 20. Like,
really?
Yeah, we need to have this thing dialed in.
And 20 pulls.
In we probably have to have this thing totally dialed in within 12 hard hits on it, and that will get us to the competition, and we'll go through every single day, boom, and we're good, and that'll still leave 3-4 hits on this engine. So we loaded it in the car with 68 hits on it.
Wow.
He made 68 pulls on his dyno.
Wow.
68 pulls on our dyno.
Before it
I
even
did not know that.
Before it even made it into the rental car for its trip to Anaheim.
Wow. We were at 68.
So yes, you made
it still runs.
reliable motor. I take that back. But I was trying to segue to the other project.
A reliable motor that you could actually drive, use, and enjoy. Yeah.
Because you guys took on this project called Project 2076.
2074.
74. You gave it 2 extra points.
Yeah, whatever. Okay.
Sure.
I gave it 2 other.
He thought you traveled 2 more miles.
Yes. Yeah.
And by the time we got to the drag strip, we were at 2,500 some miles.
So you could have built a bigger motor.
I know it, and that's what we said the whole time. We're like, dude, if we would have factored in going to Eugene,
I told you
coming back
to put Google in and put avoid tolls or something there, so the mileage is longer. It's 2332.
At least we can get a mountain motor in this thing. I know.
Let me ask this question, because I kind of came to the game late on this project.
Yeah.
And the one thing I kept asking myself, because I didn't go back and do my research.
Yeah.
I'll ask you now.
He didn't listen to our podcast.
I didn't listen to the podcast, obviously.
Yeah.
But why?
Why did we do it?
Why did you do it?
Okay.
He's asking himself
it's a
that.
multifaceted, but
Allie's asking that.
So Tanner saw this race on Facebook.
Okay.
He's like, dude, we should go. Looks like a cool place.
This
Looks like a cool deal. This is the Ohana reunion race.
Oh, gotcha.
Right?
Yes.
Medford, Oregon.
In Medford, Oregon. Okay. And so he says we should go to this. And I'm like, when is it? And he said it's Labor Day. And I'm like, dude, there's way too much stuff going on. I don't know. It would be awesome to go. That'd be super cool. But, and that was kind of the end of it for about 2 minutes. And then he's like, but maybe we could maybe we could build a car and go out and race it. Dude, they're paying $5,000 to win this class. He's like, Index, dude, this is easy. We could do this competitively. And I'm like, what car are we building per se? Because we don't have one
We don't even own a race car at this point.
And so the idea evolved over that night, and I said, well, let me go home and talk to Alejandra, because I'm sure after the engine battle, she's not going to be on board for this. So let's run it by her first. And I did, and she was.
How many drinks did she have first?
None.
Alejandra, come on over here.
She says 0.
We gotta get her to chime in.
Hold on, let's welcome to the show your wife?
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. I want to make sure I'm not your girlfriend. Your beautiful wife, Alejandra.
Hello.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Is everything you said correct and accurate to best of your knowledge?
So far, yes.
I feel like we're on the people's court. Judge Wapner's going to come out any minute now.
Well, you see our setup here. I mean, I feel a little shabby, so I mean, we got to play this way.
Do you want to tell him how I broke you the news?
Okay, so he comes home and he's on the phone with his mom, and they're talking about something in Oregon. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be the last to find out about something. I know they've already got another bad idea. So then they get off the phone, and then he starts telling me about this, and I can see in his eyes that like I have the power right now to like
Crush his dreams.
Exactly. And so as he starts telling me this like he starts telling me the idea, and it's going to be, we're going to build a race car from scratch. It's going to be, there's 2,074 miles to Ohana, so we're going to build a 2,074 cc engine, and we're going to do it all in 6 weeks from right now. So we haven't even, and we're gonna ask MP if they want to be a part of it. It's gonna be powered by MP. He's, what do you think? Like, we won't go forward unless like you're okay with it.
Unless you're gonna drive the RV.
Yeah, that wasn't even a part of it.
That was later.
That was later.
Well, I'm like looking at his eyes, and I'm just like, I can see like it's the moment of truth, and I'm like doing that internal check, like, okay, Holy Spirit, like, is this a yes? Is this a no? And I just didn't have the no. And usually I'm like really quick. As soon as he starts talking, my anxiety starts going. I'm like, oh no.
It's like you get a clear answer.
Well, she's looking for the magic 8 ball.
I'm looking for.
She's shaking the crap out of a magic 8 ball, going, "Oh my God!"
Like, is this like an opportunity to take, or is this a crash course to hell? Like, what is this? So I just checked in internally, and I was like, okay, Holy Spirit, like, I'm not hearing the no. Like, I would think that would be pretty clear. And so I looked at him, I'm like, I'm not hearing no. And then at the same time, like, I'm like, you know what's really weird? I'm feeling really nauseous right now.
Oh God.
Yeah, and like I literally like got super nauseous, and that doesn't usually happen to me,
Right.
like just randomly out of nowhere. Maybe that was the no.
In retrospect.
But I'm like, yeah, no, I really still, it's like, well, this terrifies me, but like I have this sense of peace, like, I don't know.
Like
I don't
terrifying in
know.
a good way.
Yeah, so it's like the engine battle. Like that was a huge risk. If they hadn't won, the level of loss for us, it was like we had a lot of skin in the game.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of skin in the game. So like
Adam would be single right now.
No, it takes an RV to get single.
Yeah, that's right.
That's where the RV comes in.
yeah, no, and so the fact that they won, they came home and I was like, okay, like God's up to something. Like this is definitely good, a really good season. Like I really feel like this is like Adam has been like just grinding for years and years and years, and I think he's incredibly talented at what he does, but he's just like, like he's been just going, and then there's that time when finally like you're revealed, like,
Right. Like
Well, you get some recognition. Yeah.
right, yeah, exactly,
For all your hard work.
Yeah.
right, and so this just seemed to be that like we're in that season of acceleration, so I'm just gonna like, even though like I may not know how this is going to work out and like how we're going to figure this out and how like everything, it's almost like there's no human possibility for this to make any sense, like time wise,
Well, there's never going to be the right time.
right?
Yeah,
like
that's
no,
true.
but as far as like the length of time that they had to put together a car from literally scratch, like not even knowing, we don't even have a car, so like we got to come up with a car and we got to put it together literally from beginning to end so that it's a race car and so that it can make it out there.
Right.
So like there's like multiple levels of insanity just on that end. Financially, that's a whole nother story. Like logistically, like even like to be able to support him on the social media side with the YouTube stuff, it was just things were coming together in a way that there's no other like explanation other than like divine help. Like there's just no way. So like all of these things happening, I feel like it's a part of a bigger picture.
Now who's getting fizzled?
Philosophical.
Right.
Yeah, that
How
word.
about you, Ed?
Yeah.
But you know what? That's the beauty. What you said, something that I totally subscribe to, and it's like I feel like, especially when we brought VW Trends back, that there had to be all of these what I call divine intersections.
Right.
Where if I wasn't at this place at this time, then it wouldn't have happened.
Right.
And what I'm hearing you say is there was like this whole season of like almost dog paddling.
Yeah.
And not really going anywhere. And then boom, the engine build off happened. You guys won.
Yeah.
And then that was the catalyst to accelerate this.
Right.
And I don't think had he not won that competition, that would have also played a factor in you going,
oh, yeah.
you know what? Let's run with it.
You would have stomped on the brakes for sure.
Yeah, that would have been a kibosh, definite no. And then even like as far as like, there's no way that they could have even finished the car if they hadn't had just people showing up to help.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So there was just a lot of stuff, yeah. What was the question?
Oh, we were just getting your input.
You answered it. We wanted your
We were just
perspective.
introducing you. That's all.
Yeah. So the next.
We all left, came back.
No, but like that. Then the next morning, woke up again, and there was still no, and we're like, okay.
I think we're actually going to build a car. I think we're going to actually find a car.
Yeah.
Yeah, that came together very. And how bulletproof was that car? I mean, up until the point it broke.
Up until the point
it broke, dude. It's surprising, man. Like,
I mean, you had like zero issues. What did you have? The windshield wipers stopped working.
I broke the windshield myself.
Yeah, well, that's
How'd you break the windshield? How'd that happen?
I put the gas cap. Okay, it was the one place we had a little bit. We were running like 26 degrees of timing. And I'm like, I don't feel like pulling the laptop out, but I heard a couple pings coming into town. We're filling up with gas. I'm like, you know what? I got all the cetane that we bought.
Right.
Like, I'm just going to throw some in, and then we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
So I take the gas cap off, fill it up, and I'm like, I'll put half the gas in, then I'll throw the cetane in, then I'll fill the rest of the gas up, I open up the hood of the car, and it rolls the gas cap
up against
which
the
is
windshield.
and it broke the windshield. Yeah.
Wow.
Right in the passenger's
Right,
seat.
exactly.
Right where I'm at.
Yeah, and that's a sight Adam was on the whole.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I broke the windshield. We got caught in a massive hailstorm in Nebraska, and right after that we lost our windshield wipers. Every morning we lost our gas gauge, our windshield wipers, and the turn signals for about 3 hours, and then they all came back.
Yeah, and I chimed in.
Moisture.
And I said, you know that vent on the hood? You don't have the box underneath.
Yes. Yes.
Guess where that water's going from that hailstorm?
Yeah.
It's like some duct tape would fix all this, and they're like, yeah, we're fine.
I took a towel in the middle of that hailstorm. I'm like, I'm digging for something in the car, because I mean, like, it's too late to put tape on it now.
Too late to
we
put duct
were
tape on it
ready,
now.
but it was too late, And I found a towel, and I like run out quick, and I throw a towel on top of it just to like try to do
Sop it up,
something,
yeah.
And we're sitting in the car, and I'm like, drip, drip. It starts dripping on our legs, and now it's like, yeah, there's water. I mean, there was water coming in that car everywhere. I mean, pan seal. I'm like, dude, I am not taking the time to properly put on a pan seal. Put it on.
It's
Both
extra
together.
weight.
Yeah.
That was no pants.
No seal. No seal. Nope.
And you probably got a brand new one in the box somewhere.
I've got like 12 of them. Yeah. I mean, they're everywhere. And I'm like, nope, I'm not gonna poke the holes. I'm not gonna glue it. I'm not gonna nail it. I'm just not doing. I'm not doing it. Like we have 15 minutes to put a body on. Let's go now.
Bolt holes done.
And away we go. Yeah. So yeah.
Well, it's race car, so.
It is a race car, yeah.
You drove all the miles. You got out there. You got to the track. No problems, no issues.
No
other
real-
than
yeah,
minor little
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
here.
the wheel bearing noise went away.
Yeah.
Wheel
that was
bearing
another-
noise. If you jack the car up in the morning, get a ton of oil because we rolled out there. We had 4 miles on it when we left the shop, so nothing has settled yet.
Yeah.
So we stop in Galena, and I go behind the car, and I'm like, dude, are we at negative? And I'm like, man, we are. We were at negative. We were -1 degree, probably somewhere in there.
Okay.
And I'm like, well, I guess it's not the end of the world, but. And then we started hearing that about 1,500 miles in.
And
so
then that's all you hear.
we jacked it. Yeah, exactly. That's all you hear. You dialed into that. You can't hear anything, but somehow you can hear a wheel bearing, And so, yeah, we jacked the car up, checked everything, did everything. We even tightened up axle nuts just in case. And we felt like we could feel a little bit of play there, but then it went away. And then it would get a little louder towards the end of the trip, and we found out all you have to do is just jack the car up. Jack the car up, soak the bearings in oil, and now you're golden.
Yeah. It's
just
like
give
a
them
dry
a good
start thing.
Yep. Just give them a good oil bath, and away you go. So we're like, okay, well that's easy. So that was the.
So every night before you went into sleep, you jack up the car and let it sit?
In the morning, we jack it up real quick.
Okay.
And,
you just get the oil run.
Yep. And then we would usually. It's terrible, dude. We were on day number 3, and I'm like, bro, like, should we like check the valves? I mean, like,
it's running okay.
It was running great last night. I'm like, I just feel like we should check the valves. I mean, we should do something, right?
Yeah, on the drag and drive stuff, I get like that too. It's
You're
like,
like,
I got 5 minutes. Should I look at them?
I should probably I mean, I've seen crazy things, I mean, I've seen like parts break and somehow it works, but it's going to be catastrophic if you don't do something, So like. Yeah, my thought was like we should at least check that. And
I came back from a drag and drive, and I had lost the adjuster nut, and thank God the adjuster, its cup adjuster, only had one thread.
Perfect.
And so the push rod never fell off, so it stayed running. But
you got 25.
But it was clickety clackety.
Foul lash.
Yeah. It was clacking a lot, and I'm like, where's the nut? The nut's gone. And I found a nut, and the nut was smashed. It was an ARP nut that got smushed.
Really?
And I'm like, wow. And good thing I was home that night, and I put a new nut on, readjusted it, and just rock and rolled.
Unreal.
Like, I would have never known. I would have kept driving.
Yeah.
Because it never fell apart.
Sometimes you get lucky.
Yeah. Sometimes the luck is your best friend.
And we got...
Let me ask this. So, obviously, this was a success.
Yeah.
And are you going to do it again next year?
We're doing it again next year. There's no question.
Wow.
Yeah. The whole premise. So, like, going back to the very beginning, just real quick. The whole premise of this was we can build big power.
Right.
We proved that at the MP engine battle that we can make big power. But I mean, nobody's going to use that engine for anything. So what we build on a daily basis around here, we are very finicky about the parts that we use and the tolerances. Everything is checked and checked and checked and checked and double checked. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so we have a specific amount of parts that we will use, and a lot of it is empty stuff. I mean, a lot of their stuff is really, really awesome right now. It's getting better every single year, and we wanted to prove that we could build an engine that was extremely reliable and made really good power. I mean, the car's not insanely fast, but it's no slouch. It's a 180 horsepower at 6,300. We didn't want to beat on it on the dyno. So
yeah, that's one thing I was going to ask you.
10.5 to 1 compression. I mean, it's
the motor was dyno.
Yeah.
But I'm excited because you had said you hadn't really put screws to it because you had to get it out and get it in the car to get out of here.
Right.
So I'm interested to see what kind of power you guys can make now that you kind of broke it in.
We were hoping to have this engine out and on the dyno. That was our plan last night.
Oh, for today?
To yank it out and have it on the dyno for today.
And then he had to clean the shop.
Yeah, and then cleaning continued. And then cleaning continued to continue. And
so real quick, welcome to the show. Tanner is here now, so he can be a part of this. How you doing today?
Good. How about you guys?
Thanks for showing up.
Absolutely. Had to go get the kid from school, but we're back.
No, we were just we're recapping the 2074. Did I get that right?
And Tanner did most of the driving.
Yes.
He did 100% of the driving. I have driven this car
because the windshield was busted.
I drove the car the first 2 miles. The first 2 mile test drive I drove. The second 2 mile test drive.
Screw this,
Tanner
you're
drove.
driving now.
I'm like, I'm good. This was your idea. You're driving this thing.
Yeah, this thing drives awesome.
I told him, I said, I don't know, man. It's pretty terrifying at like 65.
Yeah, it was. We were checking the speedo to the RPM to see where we were going to be at. Like we were shooting for 65, 70 mile an hour at their 3,300 RPM.
Sure.
And so we get it on the frontage road and we're doing it. I'm like, dude, this thing's walking a little bit, man. Like, we got to do this for how many miles? But once we hit the open road, we didn't do many more changes. But once we hit the open road, I don't know if it's just a frontage road that seemed bad or what. But steering wise, handling wise, it wasn't terrible.
You didn't put tape measures on the front end?
We did.
Yeah, we got we've got the drop plates and all the cambers. We got all the stuff to properly align. So we did. Yeah, we did.
That's
that.
all you got to do. That's all I ever do.
We just shot her at 0 and
Sure.
you know.
Sure, if it gets a little crazy, put a little toe in it.
Exactly. But yeah. So I mean, we knew the alignment was square and solid and good. It's just as good as it was going to be. You know, I mean.
The biggest factor was the noise, honestly.
I told you that.
The driving wise,
when you guys asked me how bad is this going to suck, and I'm like, it's going to be louder than hell.
Well, I love the story that you guys told earlier before we decided to do this podcast about how when you guys are working here in the shop, it's like nonstop chatter all day.
Yep.
You got in the car, and it was almost like the dead zone.
Yep.
Nobody wanted to talk to anybody because it was so loud and the ears were so, on fire.
Yep. And then you're screaming on top of it to try to talk, and it was just it was so hard to talk that it was basically hand signals and straight to the point things. We need gas. That was about it. Yep.
Yeah. I gotta go pee.
Yep. Just the bare necessities. Besides that,
Nope. Yeah. You're stuck in your own head of ideas.
Yep. For 2,074 miles.
Which can be a good thing or a bad thing.
Exactly.
All right, so steer you a little bit. So once you get to Medford, Oregon for the Ohana reunion, give us a little bit of insight to that. So how was your experience there?
Yeah, super cool event. Well put together. Great people.
Who was it put on by?
It was the Volks Group. Yep, and the Volks Group is J.K. Jeff Kmersick. I think I said his name correctly.
Right.
Don't worry, I butcher names here all the time.
That's why everybody calls him J.K. So, great guy, really, really great guy, and the whole entire Volks Group experience was really awesome, man. Great people.
And to start off, like just rolling into that track, we had no idea what to expect. We didn't know, we had no idea. We've never been to the race. And so we pull in, and the amount of trailers and trucks and everything we're seeing there, we're like, wow, there's a high car count. Not realizing that every single car there was a Volkswagen.
Yeah, we thought
it was
wow,
we're doing test and tune tonight.
It's a test and tune night, man. There's a lot of people here for test and tune. It'll be fun watching racing.
And we're rolling
tonight.
in at what? It was 10:30 by the time we rolled into the track. I think it was later in the night.
It was late.
And
it was late. And I'm like, dude, that's Volkswagen. I'm like, are these all Volkswagen? There's no way. Like, where's all the big car stuff at?
Yep.
And Volkswagen, 98 cars by the time it's all said and done.
There was a small tire race.
Yeah, they did have. They had a small tire, which they ended up having 14 or 16 small tire cars there.
Yeah.
And again, more great people.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was
More people that were blown away by the Volkswagen experience. Seriously, they were like, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah,
like,
you go to the small tire stuff, and it's usually really cliquey. Your small tire guys, they're staying over here, this group's staying over here, where the whole Volkswagen crew, everyone's hanging out together, and they were welcomed just as much, the small tire guys.
So what was the name of that racetrack?
It was Medford. I think it's just Medford Raceway, Medford.
Yeah.
But it's actually a complex.
Yeah.
So if you kept going straight when you're supposed to turn right, you end up at Medford Dirt Track.
Oh,
and then
nice.
they had shooting range, and they had it was a massive complex of just things to do.
It was like one-stop shopping.
It really was. For any motorhead, it was.
And it's actually it's a state park.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess the drag strip is part
on
of
the state park or something like that.
State park or the city park or whatever. Yeah.
That's not unheard of because the racetrack in Terre Haute is in the state or the county fairgrounds.
No kidding.
Yeah, and they rent the track rents that property from the state, or I guess it would be the county fair. So
how cool is that?
Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah.
neat,
So definitely an awesome place.
Well, the plan is
awesome
next year that me and Sean and whoever else is planning on going are going to go to the race with you guys.
Absolutely. We
Are you
definitely
going to build a car? It's possible. You've got time.
You got plenty of time.
I'll just pick out one of the ones I already own.
Very good.
Yeah, we're planning. Yes, we definitely want to get a lot more people coming out, especially from the Midwest, to go out and experience that.
I think probably the only reason I'm going is because you guys are going.
Well, appreciate that. Appreciate it.
Awesome.
We could use the support.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I go, this will be an adventure.
Yep, absolutely.
I'll bring the pro stock out and I'll hit the racetrack with you guys, and yeah, it just sounds fun.
Yep, and judging from the numbers last year, as far as car count wise, we expect it to be quite a bit bigger next year. Yeah, because I think last year was 70.
77 cars last year, 98 this year, and they're thinking that. I mean, they're shooting for 120, 130.
Wow.
Now is the plan to to bring Bernie back there? Or are you gonna?
Yes.
So you're gonna do all the testing and tuning. You got plenty of time to dial it in to make sure.
It's not going to be anything close to what it is now.
Oh, you got plans for it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so
It's going to be fast.
so you're pulling this motor and going bigger. I take it.
Yeah, so we were hoping that we have a transmission back together before the tracks close here for the year. Okay. Because we still, I mean, we haven't made a pass. We haven't proven that it
The last factor that it can go 790.
It's got to be able to go
So
790.
real quick to recap for our listeners, if you didn't follow them along, what happened? You guys got to the track first night out. You were doing like a test run.
There's no such thing as a test run if Tanner's driving.
Okay, I'll let Tanner explain. So give us a little insight to what happened that evening.
It's called a full send run.
Yes, absolutely.
Every single time he
All
goes.
or nothing.
Yes,
Yep, full send or no send.
But this
Full
was
send
your
or no
test
send.
run, and you lined up and.
And so, yeah, we had everything in street trim, changed everything over to race trim, put the big rockers on, the whole 9 yards, and we go up, and I'm like, should we just let the clutch out slow, A to B pass? He's like, nah, $6,000. I'm like, all right, like, I'm down.
It's a full
So,
send.
like, literally, it was a full send. Do the burnout, get the tires rocked in a little bit, and go up there. I've made thousands of passes down the drag strip, never in a stick shift car.
I got to give you crap about that because I heard that and I'm like, dude, I heard. I'm like, seriously, why would you not do a test run? You know, just so you know how to run through the gears and you got everything good. But okay, continue on your story.
And so all my vehicles are stick shift. I have GTO, my bus, my Cruise, everything stick shift. So I'm very fluent in stick shift driving. It was just the launching aspect and the staging. Because I'm very particular how I stage a car. I do it very consistent every single time.
Staging brake in a car?
It's called an e-brake, yeah.
Yeah, I use the e-brake, and so how I did it is I just held the e-brake up
works.
consistently and just and I bumped in with the clutch and just wow.
And the two-step is on we put the two-step on the back of the e-brake.
e-brake, okay.
Yeah, there's just an arm.
And so it was a
Did you
watt
take the
switch.
button out of the e-brake?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, there was no
Yep.
rooster. In
No
it.
button, it's just hollow.
Yeah,
you know?
that's old school. Old school
Yep.
staging brake.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It works.
And so it was slightly terrifying. Get the car stage, make sure the two-step was on, and just mat it. And never had a two-step 6,000 RPM behind me before. It was a little different.
Yeah.
And then letting out the clutch. I feel everything went smooth, and it was initially as soon as it left, you could just feel it that it was just like boom. And
As soon as it left, though, I mean, it left right.
yeah, it squatted.
Ooh,
And
I'm
I was like, here we go.
You
And
know,
then you just feel it like
all in a matter of 0.3 of a second.
Yeah.
I can like break down the whole thing.
Yep,
You know,
yep.
like
It's slow motion in
yeah,
Aaron's
because
brain.
it was like perfect. Like the two-step was too long because they threw the wrong light.
Yeah, I thought there was going to be a pro tree,
It was
and then
supposed to
all
be
of
a
a sudden
pro
it started
tree,
coming
yeah,
down
and-
full tree, and I'm
and
like,
they give
oh,
him
now I'm
full-
sitting there waiting
yeah.
on the two-step.
Yeah, so it's like, but whatever. I saw that and I'm like, that's garbage, but nothing you can do there. Just let it ride on the two-step. Who cares? But yeah, I mean, you could see the car squat. I could hear him like running into the staging the car, and I could hear, I mean,
it's a
logging
squat
like
the
I'm
back
like,
end.
yup, right, like right on the brake. It's all right, and the car leaves, and I'm like, nice transition. Like, I mean, it just looks right, and then it goes. And you hear the bog, and then you go,
Snap.
kaboom! And then the explosion. Yeah, and
Yeah, you did
Yeah.
everything right to save the tranny.
yeah.
Except
That's just,
Except save the
Except
trans.
save
You done
the
everything
trans.
right. Except
you
save.
did everything physically right at the at the line to save the tranny. But
Yeah.
it just-
So what did the transmission look like when you pull it out? Was it just completely?
it was honestly, it was the fastest oil change I've seen in my life, or oil drain, shall I say, in my life.
Not only did it shear all the teeth off the pinion, but it took the case. And
So it split the case right in half.
Oh yeah. It was
Oh man.
yeah, instant oil
So
drain.
it detonated.
Oh, it was bad.
Did anything fly out? Pieces missing?
Yeah. We had parts
Actually, I
flying
think we
sideways.
still got pieces over there. I could go grab. We got pieces of side cover.
Side
Yeah, it went
covers.
all the way up the side cover, around the bottom, and back up the other side. Yep.
And
The crazy
HD
part
side
is that
covers?
it cracked all the way through the face of it to the lower engine mounts holes.
yeah, that's weird. That is weird. Usually,
And it ejected the input shaft flawlessly.
Like a rocket.
well, it usually shears that little stud that screws the two together.
And it
The
did
stud,
it.
the stud wasn't in there.
Oh, it unscrewed it.
It unscrewed.
Oh, neat.
So like, what happened to the
collar.
The collar
The reverse collar. Yeah.
would have had to been shattered into pieces and then spun itself out
And then unscrewed, yeah.
and all came out in flawless condition, like it never.
Ching.
Yeah, just think. As soon as we pulled the engine out, it was like we were pulling it out, and I heard something like, and I'm like,
That's the input shaft.
what is this? You know? And we set the engine down, and I come back, and the input shaft is like halfway out of the transaxle, and I just grab it, and like, oh, the input shaft is still good. Like we could reuse this.
I always thought the input shaft was the unsung hero of every Volkswagen transmission.
It's insane.
You look at them and go, how can this
How?
hold back? No,
How?
I don't use anything special. I use 50-year-old used ones, right? But an axle will snap in half. It'll tear all the teeth off a pinion, and the input shaft just goes, meh.
We're good.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, we're half the diameter, but yeah, whatever. It just blows me away that those things survive everything.
And I've never seen a twisted or broken. Have you ever seen a broken input shaft?
Nope. I've seen them break when it did an explosion like you're talking about.
Okay, sure.
But that was because it was being bent in half.
Right.
Not twisted.
Yeah,
you know?
they don't twist. It just I don't know how
it
it
snapped
happens.
like you're snapping it over your knee.
Now,
You know?
getting back to the fact that you actually blew up your transmission,
Yeah.
I would think there would have to be this overwhelming sense of pride that you created a motor that had that kind of
Yeah.
to blow up the transaxle.
Well, see, I go one step further, and I blame Tanner's right foot.
I can concur.
Because ultimately, Tanner's right foot broke that transmission. I mean, it just stomped it in half.
You need to own it. Just own it.
I'm here for it.
I'll take
Full
it.
send or no send.
But see, at the end of the day, you guys ultimately set out to do what you were going to do.
Yeah,
You made a motor that survived. You put a motor together. You test drove it all the way out there. No problems, no major problems on the motor. And then you lined up to race it. Obviously, the race didn't go, but you didn't blow up the engine.
Right.
So
No, the engine's fine.
Yeah.
you achieved
Everything that we did is good. It still is. I mean, it's still solid.
And it's almost impressive that the engine broke the transmission. Because it's making some horsepower.
Yes.
A 1600 wouldn't have snapped that thing.
Right. You just boom.
Everyone boom and took off.
Yeah, so we know we got horsepower. We know we got that.
That should prove to people that you can make horsepower.
Yeah.
Because it's a transmission destroyer.
Exactly.
Yeah. When people call you up and say, yeah, what kind of engine do you want? And then dude will say, I want that transmission destroyer.
Well, just wait till you guys start building your own transmissions.
Yep.
And people are like, if you guys can't blow them up, I want to buy one of your transmissions because they're that good.
There you go.
There
Well,
you
when
go.
Prescott starts his classes,
Yeah, there you
We're
go.
working on it.
we
I
can
trust
go to
me.
the School of Prescott on transaxle
Well,
building.
first we got to make it through this Sean schooling. Oh, my God.
Hey, that's another podcast. We'll get into that later. But we're here to talk about you guys. So next year, you guys are rebuilding Bernie.
Yeah.
He's going to be bigger, badder, better.
And we don't know necessarily that bigger. We're thinking about sticking on the 2074 platform.
Yeah, I think
so. But some added features, let's say.
Top secret stuff.
Top secret. Not necessarily top secret, but until the idea is more in play, yeah, we're because there's a few different routes that we're talking about doing. Definitely different because it's like, okay, that worked. Now, we got the next challenge kind of deal. So
There's going to be two 2074.
front wheel, all-wheel drive.
all the wheels all the time.
Once upon a time, we used to have a twin turbo bay window bus as our shop bus.
Really?
Yeah, but we sold the bus, but we kept the turbos.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Kept the important part.
Yeah, yeah.
So that may be
Short
in line.
story,
Yeah, I like it.
Well, that'll be interesting to follow you guys and see what you guys come up with and what the plan is for next year because it should be a good time.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, especially if we get everybody on board to go out there and
If we can get a caravan rolling out there,
That's the best way to go. I mean, I miss those days when we used to always
everybody get together and meet up.
we'd roll it. We'd roll as a group. We'd stop for lunch as a group. We'd get gas as a group.
we'd pee as a group, all the good stuff.
It was all good. It's all good. I want to get back
He misses
to,
those moments.
Yeah, not so much. So, but I'd like to get back to that because lately we've been driving just me. Yeah, me and my little crew. We jump in my truck and we go.
Right.
It's not a caravan or
right.
So it's a caravan with 3 people. But we'd all have our single axle trailers and driving our pickup truck with the ball tires and
headed to the track.
And we were just living.
Yeah.
And this sounds like that could be that at least one more time.
Oh, it could. It could definitely. It could definitely bring back the good old days. I agree.
We will try and make it happen.
Well, okay then.
All right, then. Well,
Let's do it.
What else we got to talk about? Anything else? Anything else you want to sign off with there, Dan?
I got nothing.
Okay. All right. Thank you
Well,
for your words of wisdom.
Words of wisdom? Oh, yeah. Sorry, you're barking up the wrong tree on that.
We'll let Dan get on the road. Yeah. He's got to go home and feed the dog.
Yeah, I forgot to put that food out.
But thank you very much.
If anyone has a dog, I might need one.
But thank you very much for coming on the podcast. I mean, you were here. I'm glad to finally meet you in person. It was really nice.
It's been awesome. Yeah. It's nice to put a face with a voice.
Yes.
Kind of thing.
Yes, definitely. And thank you guys to Tanner and Adam and always having us out here. This is awesome.
Thanks for
this has been fun. What a fun day.
Yeah.
Always a good time. Always a good time, guys.
All right. And as usual, if you like what you hear, please reach out to us at bcbugtalk@gmail.com or check us out on Facebook at BruceCityBugTalk, or you can go onto YouTube. I'm sorry, there's a bee flying around. or you can go on to YouTube and check out our YouTube channel. Is there anything else I missed?
I think you hit all the socials.
All right. Well, thank you very much and have a good day, guys.
Good day. Peace out. Don't forget to subscribe to VW Trends Magazine for all the latest and greatest in VWs around the world. Visit VWTrendsMagazine.com to subscribe.